my screen. Her smile, it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night, recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence, it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
Battles got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing good. If you guys haven't already, do me a favor, hit the like button, all right? That helps to push the channel into the algorithm. Excuse me. And it helps to keep the video circulating, all right? So if you guys can do me that favor and hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, do me a favor, guys. Hop in the chat and engage. You know, we're all going to be here anyways, chilling, watching, catching a vibe. May as well engage in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on the videos that we have today to look at. All right. Now, just so you guys know, I'm definitely in the process of figuring out the FOIA request situation, have people interested in assisting with that. So I'm going to have a little bit of things that are like my own content as well. So just so you guys know, I have that on the horizon. But for now, we're going to be looking at a few different interrogations. I would call these bizarre, but I honestly think that if an interrogation is being uploaded on YouTube, right, there's likely some significance in that case. All right, now this one is no different. This is of an old man who made a shocking confession after his wife had already began to suspect some things about him. All right, now this type of stuff is definitely giving Lifetime Movie Network territory. All right, so I know they're going to be picking this up and making a movie, but it definitely appears to be very dramatic. So we're going to get into this one. Good morning, Joanne. I hope you're doing good today. All right, we're going to get started with the case, and his name is Alfred Ruff. Okay, he's from Indiana, and he's about to make some very disturbing confess. He's about to confess to a few disturbing things, but he's also going to make some wild statements, and you guys are going to have to decide if you think he's telling the truth. All right, so let's get into this one. Again, this is from Crime Fix. Law and Crime stole it from Crime Fix, but we'll get into it.
Okay, so I'm still trying to get what their entire plan was. So their entire plan is to have mom killed, right?
Get mom out of the picture.
A husband sits down with detectives and he makes some bizarre claims about drugging his wife's soda. You'll never believe what Alfred Ruff told police when I take you inside the interrogation room.
Criminal offense. What you're doing is trying to kill your wife. Do you understand that, right?
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Alfred Ruff had a big problem back in January of 2022. His wife had called police because she kept feeling sick and she suspected her 69-year-old husband was poisoning her. Well, guess what? Lisa Bishop was right. Alfred Ruff was charged with attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Detectives in Wayne County, Indiana, which is on the Ohio-Indiana state line west of Dayton, Ohio, investigated Bishop's claims. They brought Alfred Ruff, a 69-year-old man, in for questioning, and the story Ruff told was stunning.
Okay, so let's start off just telling me why you're here today.
The reason I'm here today is I found I was given this little baller like that. It was about one of them Fields ballers.
Mm-hmm.
And that little white stuff. And they told me just sprinkle a little bit on her drink. Then tell her when she was out, and they'd come in and do their things.
Okay, I don't understand. Who are you saying? Who's they?
That's her daughter and Sarah. I can't pronounce her last name.
What's her daughter's name?
Lisa, Tasha.
Tasha?
Yeah.
Is it Latasha or Tasha?
Well, I pronounce it that way. I don't know.
Okay.
I know she's been in trouble with the law.
Latasha, and then what's her friend's name? Do you know it?
Mm-hmm.
Sarah.
You don't remember?
And it is giving dementia, right? I don't want to indict him nice and early, but it's giving dementia. Because how could you just say that with a straight face and just like carry on with your sentence? Like, oh yeah, they gave me this thing to sprinkle in her drink, her daughter and whoever else. He just seems very casual about it. So it is giving dementia brain a little bit, but he could be playing dumb. So let's continue.
Sarah's last name?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So just to be clear, Alfred Ruff is telling detectives that his wife's daughter, who's probably around 30, and her friend are giving him powder in a bottle to drug his wife. And he said then they do their thing. He explains what that means.
So you're saying that the pill bottle that Officer Caves took from the residence that has the unknown substance in it, you're saying that they gave that to you?
They gave me the baller.
They gave you the what?
Well, that
Okay,
pill bottle.
gotcha.
And he said, just take a little bit, put it on, until she'll go up to sleep.
Okay,
And
so
then they come in and give her something else, so she's completely out.
okay. What do you think that substance is?
I have got no idea what it is.
And the silence is warranted, right? Because you're saying he's saying all these crazy things, right? The daughter and her friend give him something to sprinkle in mom's drink, and then once mom, ingests that and falls asleep, they do it in front of her, in front of him. Like it's a very demented, deviant thought process. He's clearly thinking out loud his own fantasies and projecting that onto the daughter and her friend. He's probably been watching them in a very weird way for a long time. A lot of times people don't act before they, have all these thoughts. They just will think on them and be like, oh, that's, that's something I want to do to that person. And eventually you never know if he would have acted or attacked the daughter. Hey, Shucking and Jiving TV. He's a bad fella. Yeah, he's very creepy. Like to even be thinking about that is creepy as hell. But let's continue because this is only the beginning of how bizarre his stories is.
I got pill bottles like this I take for my medicine. My pill bottle had that white stuff in it. Or just, well, I had majestic heart failure back in 2014.
Okay. So you're saying that they told you to sprinkle a little bit into her drink, correct?
Yeah.
And then it makes her go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
And then they come in and do what?
Yeah, they want me to watch them do sex and this and that.
Watch them,
Yeah.
like those two?
The other two.
Okay, so what, they don't do anything to Lisa?
No, they do not do anything to Lisa.
Alfred Ruff is a senior citizen, and before this, he had never been in trouble. Or had he? I searched him in truthfinder.com to find out. Truthfinder
They be
had
playing.
50% daughter and her friend give him powder to drug his wife, and then they have sex in front of him. Ruff goes on to say it was part of a plan hatched by the two women to kill his wife for insurance money.
So she got mad, and so she decided she wanted to kill her mom by giving her this stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
So,
then I think they was going to try to put a hit on me. I was told she had, not Tasha, but Sarah had a boyfriend.
So they were going to put a hit on you after giving you the poison to give to the woman. I mean, it's giving a very elaborate scheme. Okay, I don't believe any word of it, but I think it's interesting. He keeps roping people into it, because now he's going to mention even another person that's involved, an unknown male.
Friend that would come out and do something to me.
okay. So, when did they first tell you that this was their goal? You said about 3 months ago?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months ago.
When did they tell you? Like, so did they come to your house,
They
talk about it, or what were you doing when you found out?
They came to the house and they'd wait until sometime Lisa'd be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how they knew exactly what time she was leaving or nothing. And they'd come to the house and then they'd try to put on a show for me and this and that.
Okay. So they're putting on a show, and what do you mean by a show?
This is this old man's fantasy, and shame on him for actually poisoning the wife because of a delusion that he has in his head about daughter or stepdaughter and her girlfriend. Very, very disturbing.
They wound up, my wife ordered some of these fancy Niagara shades and that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got a hold of them, they'd put them on and try to rouse me by them wearing her clothes around.
Okay. So they wear the clothes around. What else are they doing?
Well, I think while they're messing with me, one of them is trying to find stuff to go through and take out of the house.
Okay. So are you having sex with Latasha and Sarah?
Yes, I have.
Okay. During these occasions, that's what I'm saying, is
Yes.
when they're coming up, that
Yes.
you were having sex with them?
Yes.
Okay, and it's those two at the same time or just one?
Well, they'd both be there at the same time.
Okay. So here's the thing, Alfred. So they're coming up. You're having sex with these ladies. How old are they?
Her daughter is 31 or 30.
Her daughter. That's why he's being a colossal creep, right? Obviously. But, this is somebody who he married's child, which should be like his child. So the fact that he's even being a weirdo like this, thinking about all this, they don't believe him. You guys hear the long pauses after he tells the story because they're just like, now we got to try and confirm if this old man is actually doing all this creepy stuff, which we know he's not, right? But the fact that he's even wrote the daughter and her friend into this by such a creepy way, he's a very deviant person. I know this woman didn't know who she married.
In the 30s.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 69.
Okay. So you're having these females come up. They come when either Lisa's gone or she's asleep, right?
Yeah.
And then you have sex with them. And then they discussed a plan to kill Lisa, correct?
That's what they was wanting to do.
Okay. Why?
So they get her out of the picture because she told you already that she had life policy. Well, they think they get her out of the deal. They was go get the life policy.
Okay.
But she's got all the life policy set up, so it'll go to her 12 grandkids.
Now, Ruff says this was all over the daughter wanting a life insurance payout, but the problem is Alfred Ruff was the beneficiary of the policy.
Okay. And at what point did they say, we want you to get...
So that throws out his theory that they were going to get an unknown male to delete him, right? Because if they were going to, they need you alive and well to go and collect the insurance money. They can't delete you until that check is cashed at this point. So, he's snitching on himself without really snitching on himself because he thinks he's implicating his daughter, but everything he's saying is just proof that he's the one, sort of colluding in this. He's the only beneficiary.
Give her enough to kill her.
Well, I was never going to give her enough to kill her.
What point did they say they wanted you to?
They didn't say. They just said in time they wanted her. She wanted her mom out of the picture.
Okay.
Partly on account I wouldn't give in to everything they wanted done.
Now, this story sounds a little fishy, to say the least. It's not impossible, of course, but is it plausible or possible? That's the question. Ruff then explains how he drugged his wife. It had happened just days earlier, on December 29th, 2021.
I just sprinkled on top of the Coke, and I opened the can up, and she'd take a drink.
Okay. So how did they give you the substance? Did they give it in that pill bottle?
They gave it to me in that pill bottle, just like it is.
Okay, and so is it like a powder or is it like a pasty substance?
It's a powder stuff.
Okay.
You would be correct, right? Your gut feeling is on point this morning, Gito. He is guilty as sin. Right? His whole story doesn't even add up. This is Alfred Ruff. Okay, it's just for those of you guys who are coming in now, do me a favor, hit the like button. All right, it's the least you can do. It's free. It helps my channel in like the easiest way possible. So hit the like button for me. Not only that, but Alfred Ruff is, an old deviant male, and he imagined a lot of sexual scenarios, and he applied that to why he decided to try and poison his, or try to delete his wife by poisoning. He had been putting drops of some poisonous substance in her Coca-Cola. So that's what we're on right now, guys. If you enjoy the topic, if you're here with me, do me a favor and hit the like button. All right. But he's talking about how he poisoned her slowly. It was like he would get her a can of Coke, put it in there, and, hand it to her. And, the interesting thing is the wife had just been afraid that something like this was going on because she was getting sick out of nowhere. Made no sense. So let's continue. Let's hear his story, because he really is telling us a story today.
So every time that you gave this to Lisa, is that how you gave it to her? By sprinkling it onto her Coke or drink?
Sprinkle it on top of the can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd take the can in, and I would open it, and she'd take it and drink it.
Okay. When was the last time you did this?
Last time I done that was on the 29th.
So after you guys gave her this, you had given it to her around 7. They came an hour later and gave her more of something.
Yeah.
What happened after that?
After that, they done their little show, and
You keep saying a show, and so...
well, their lingerie deal.
Okay, so they put on lingerie, and then what? You're saying you have sexual intercourse with both of these women?
No, not both of you. Once in a while I would, but most of them one at a time.
Okay, so on the 29th, who was it with?
29th, I think it was Sarah.
Okay.
And that's the next day, that's when we came up with all her clothes that Lisa had was been missing. They took shoes.
And what a modest man, right? Hey, whoa, never 2 at a time. Always one at a time. Right? Like his whole mind is so fixated on, the sexual aspect of this that he's not even taking in. He's basically not even speaking on the fact that he was, poisoning his wife. He spoke about that very briefly. Dang, that's my worst romantic fear, getting done in by a spouse, especially without ever knowing. Exactly, because imagine, like, you ask your wife or your husband for a can of Coke. Hey, babe, can you bring me a can of Coke? Oh, yeah, babe, I got you. Here you go. And they lay down with you every night. You're not going to think that. You know what I'm saying? But this type of video just reminds you that, like, anybody, like the people closest to you can be the one that does you in, unfortunately. They can be the most dangerous person to you because of the access, right? How close you are to them, how, you guys' world revolves around each other. So very, very disturbing. All right. And honestly, I think at this point, it's like your wife has a 30-year-old daughter that you're lusting after, and you're like 80, bro. Obviously you're not who you pretended to be to even get married to this woman. It makes you wonder about, like, why he even married her, to become such a deviant. She definitely didn't realize that he was like this. I doubt she would have got married, and I think that's the surprising part too. She's getting sick out of nowhere, and then boom, her husband said, you know what, let me go tell the cops this is why I'm here to tell you guys that I've been poisoning my wife, sleeping with my stepdaughter in my head, and her girlfriend. Very just kind of sick individual. So anyways, let's continue.
And everything out in boxes, because she had it all boxed up and getting ready so we could move.
So they're stealing her clothes and property?
Stealing her property.
So you had sex with Sarah. What was Latasha doing?
I think Latasha was carrying boxes out.
Alfred Ruff says he would have sex with the women as his wife lay in her bed drugged. Ruff was surprisingly open with the detectives about drugging his wife and having sex with the two women who were young enough to be his daughters.
So, I want to get everything straight, okay, before we ask a little bit more. You knew what you were giving her was eventually going to kill her, correct?
Right? Yes,
Correct?
yeah.
Okay. So the substance that you were getting from Latasha, you knew that it was going to knock out your wife, and then you knew that the longer you gave it to her, it'd eventually kill her. And that was the ultimate goal?
I didn't know it was going to kill her with that same stuff.
Okay. But that was the goal, was to eventually have her dead from the substance that she was taking.
That's what her daughter wanted done.
Okay. And then you were helping her daughter to do that, correct?
Yeah. I was involved with
So
it. I wish I had never been.
The fact that
But you were involved.
daughter,
Yeah, that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
the fact that he's putting this on the daughter, like, he is trifling as hell. I just, I mean, not only was she possibly gonna lose her mother, like her mother's unnecessarily being, physically targeted, but now she has this bandit, lusting after her too, claiming they had a sexual relationship, claiming this 80-year-old man is sleeping with her and her friend. TC said, "Why is he talking to the police? Where's his attorney?" I mean, he probably figures he'll pass before he has to serve any consequences, and that's the sad part. But let's continue.
Okay. So this Coke can that was located there at your house, that was cut up, is that the Coke can that you'd given her?
Probably was.
I don't want to probably was. Is that the Coke can that was used?
That's the Coke can used that last time, yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't know they dumped a bunch of white stuff down there.
You didn't know who did that?
I didn't know Tasha dumped that much in the can to make it turn white down there.
Okay. But you told me an hour after you gave her the substance, Latasha and Sarah gave her something else, correct?
Yep.
And so that's what it was. They put more into her Coke can?
Yep.
And you're saying they gave her a lot.
Well, I don't know how much, but
Enough to turn something white on the bottom of the can?
yep.
Okay. And how did you know that? Why did you cut it up?
I didn't cut the can up. Lisa cut the can open.
Okay.
She showed me the can. That's when I came clean where there was what was going on.
So Lisa cut the can open. She sees that there's a bunch of white stuff in the bottom of the can?
Yeah.
And then she, asked you about it?
She asked me about it, and that's when I told her, well, we have been doing things we shouldn't have been doing.
Okay.
What a deviant! And instead of just being honest about what he did, right? There's still a possibility that this is true. But instead of being honest about what he did, he's like wrapping the daughter into it and making it this like sexual relationship. Dude, you were poisoning your wife. You likely wanted her life insurance policy, but you didn't want them to think this was your own devious plan. So you had to wrap in all these other people and claim that they're involved in it, and just threw in the sexual part of it just for shits and giggles. That's really what it seems like to me. But this old man he's probably, honestly, this is 9 days ago. I have a feeling that, this happened in 2022. Okay, so if he's already in jail, okay, but otherwise, this man's not going to make it to the end of his sentence. He's probably going to serve like a couple years and then he's going to croak over. Apparently, he's a very lonely person about at the end of his life and is desperate for attention. This is just sad. Yeah, I definitely think he's desperate for attention. I think he's desperate for something to make him feel alive. Maybe he regrets his life and things like that. So he made up this wild story. He probably did poison his wife, right? But all these other inserts, other people being involved, that was for theatric effect, right? That was for him. That was for him to make this a nice dramatic little thing. No, he just poisoned his wife, right? He didn't have this, sexual relationship with these women who are 50 years younger than him. Could be his granddaughters at that point. I don't believe any of that. I think all of that was just for him to feel alive. He's an old man. And I believe he's 72. Yeah, 72. So I mean, this man's gonna what? He's gonna make it what, like a couple of years in jail before he croaks over, if he hasn't already, because this happened in 2022.
How long have you been having sexual relationships with Latasha and Sarah?
Probably since back in September.
So this is not your daughter, correct? It's her daughter?
It's her daughter.
Okay.
He's my stepdaughter. She's been in trouble a hell of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Where I used to live down at my home place, she OD'd twice down there.
Okay. Do you have any idea what this substance is?
No, I do not.
Prosecutors would later say that Ruff's wife tested positive for benzodiazepines, MDMA, and cocaine. Ruff stuck to the claim that he would drug his wife so these women could have their way with him.
Okay. And how would they give it to her? Would they put it in the Coke can or whatever you use?
Put it in the Coke can. Every once in a while she would wake up and take a drink.
Okay. So when they were doing this, what were they saying to you?
Huh?
What were they saying to you when they were...
Hi, Lana. So they said he was giving cocaine, benzodiazepines, and MDMA, right? So MDMA being meth, is that a meth-derived drug? So that would be like Molly or something like that, right? I think so. Somebody in the chat let me know. MDMA is a amphetamine. So why would he give his wife an amphetamine to fall asleep? Right? The benzodiazepines make sense. That's like Benadryl. What was cocaine? Drinking cocaine in your Coca-Cola. I mean, it gives a new meaning to Coke. The crisp Coca-Cola. I like cheeseburgers. Okay, guacamole. I like cheeseburgers too. I like little slider burgers. Those are delicious too. Joanne says hi to Lana Love. Yeah, I mean, this one is just so... He's such a weird person. Every claim that he makes is like bizarre. Like it just comes... Why do you put amphetamines in your wife's drink if you want her to fall asleep? I'm pretty sure MDMA would just make her horny. Yeah, ecstasy. Jennifer Kojanski said ecstasy. I'm pretty sure that's... Yeah, so why would he give her an amphetamine like that? Like, why would he give her something like that to fall asleep? That's something you give her to stay awake, right? Have more energy. And just... So he was just drugging her with whatever he can find at this point, because that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I thought MDMA was ecstasy. That's what I thought. Coke was originally made with real Coke. Yes, I know that one, Billy. I definitely heard that before. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that before. TC said if he's serving a sentence, that simple twist of fate will be he's going to live to a ripe old age. Yeah. 100 MDMA, methyldoxamine, edafine. Where did he get these drugs? Yeah, the MDMA, because they're reading like the active ingredients. MDMA is ecstasy. That's what I thought. It's like an amphetamine. It's something that's going to give you energy. So you put an amphetamine in your wife's drink so she could fall asleep? Like, no, it doesn't. Exactly. None of that would put her to sleep. She would stay awake, right? She would stay awake. Coke, same thing. Coke is going to get you revved up a little bit. I guess if you have too much of it, you might pass out. But none of these are drugs that would have sedated her. So, I mean, that's from my opinion. I don't know if they're going to say different. But these types of drugs aren't going to put you to sleep. They're going to keep you up, if anything. They're going to give you energy, like hormone, things like that, So let's continue.
Giving it to her.
They didn't say nothing to me about what they was doing.
I mean, they have to. Hey, this is what we're doing to keep mom asleep. Hey,
They
we're
said
trying to
that-
kill
they
mom.
said this stuff here will keep mom asleep, so they could have their fling with me.
Okay. But eventually, you had the conversation where they're trying to get insurance money as well. So
Yeah.
when did that conversation take place?
After they found out we had the place for sale,
You had the place on Wallace Road for sale? Okay.
and it sold.
It did sell?
Yeah.
Ruff also told the detectives that he knew what he was doing was wrong.
And you understand what you were doing, right? I mean, you understand that them giving you this to lead to that, that is a criminal offense. What you're doing is trying to kill your wife. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't care whose plan it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or who came up with it. You're a part of it, and you're doing it. You're the one giving her this substance in order to knock her out. That is eventually, the plan is to kill her. Is that correct?
I mean, what my plan?
It doesn't matter whose plan it is. I'm saying that's the plan, right?
That was the plan. Yeah.
Okay. And you're the one going through with it. You're the one giving her the stuff every single time, 12 times for the last 3 months, and you're the one doing that. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And then they would come in and
Yeah, so essentially, nobody forced his hand, right? He chose to poison her. So even though he's trying to rope in the daughter and her friend, at the end of the day, the actions were his. So I do think he was having some sort of psychosis. Maybe he was imagining, he was having very active imaginations. They say when old people, don't tell anybody this, guys, it's a secret between me and you. They say when old people, like very old people, get UTIs, that they can become psychotic. So he could have got a UTI and just been, going a little insane in the brain for a second and been imagining all this relationship and was like, oh, I gotta poison my wife so I can have this fantastic sexual relationship that's happening in my fucking head, right? That's definitely what it seems like, in my opinion. Hey, Ian. Another nut, huh? Yeah, he's definitely a nutcase. I mean, this guy is, and I hate to use that word because that's like even abusing the crazy word, but he's definitely crazy. Okay, and ecstasy is called Molly. I don't know if aren't they two different things? Because I know Molly is a like pure form of MDMA, and then ecstasy can be like a blend of other stuff. I only know this because I'm a criminal justice major. For those of you who don't have any background in criminal justice, why do you know the active ingredients in Molly and ecstasy? Okay, don't question me, question your mama. But yes, I think Molly is a pure form, and then ecstasy is like the mixed, like it has other street drugs in it, street MDMA that makes it, sort of more risky than like the pure Molly. I mean, they're both risky, right? Because they're a drug, but Molly tends to be pure. Okay, but most of the time when people say they have Molly, they really have like an impure version of ecstasy. Yeah, they're two different things. He might have been saying not everyone deserves an out. Yeah, I'm definitely not giving him an out, right? I think at the end of the day, just because you're delusional, it doesn't mean that you have no accountability in what you've done. All right, you still have accountability. So I wouldn't take away his accountability. But you'll see, we're gonna have some cases today. You guys might feel differently about accountability. Joanne Jenkins says question. I wasn't trying to insult anyone. I just wanted to make sure we weren't like, sometimes people not trauma bond, but sometimes people will have conversations about drugs in like a way where it sounds like they're interested. No, the only reason why I even know about certain drugs is because I took a chemistry class about drugs, so don't shoot the messenger. Will says, please don't listen to this woman. That's rude, Will. That is so rude. Why don't you want anybody listening to me? For what reason? What did I do to you? Molly had my see. This is what I mean. I don't want you guys to think we're trying to have a conversation about drugs. Drugs are bad, but Molly's supposed to be a pure form of MDMA. Ecstasy is like a cut street version of it. Good morning, Jesse Nukes. What is this about a biscuit? Joanne says he cracked me up. Um, those same drugs would cause psychological issues immediately. Grow up in Boston, and those Harvard kids will help you make it. Wow, geesh. I took all the drugs, naughties. LOL. I'm retired. Madman, perhaps you should have laid off the drugs, all right? Because the grammar in this sentence is deplorable. But let's continue. I'm not trying to roast you. All right, let's continue.
They would give an additional amount every single time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sit tight. I'm gonna have a word with Officer James. Or do you have anything right here?
I just had two things that you didn't. Which person gave you the pill bottle? You kept saying they. Which person handed you the pill bottle?
Tasha would be the one that had me the pill bottle.
Okay. And it's been that one the whole time, or did you go through one and get another one?
No, it's been her.
Okay.
Tasha
So she's the one that handed it to you. Okay. And my only other thing is because I know a little bit more because I heard Lisa talking. What was her side effects when the next day, or did she wake up and was she hurting?
No, she'd wake up and she'd be drowsy.
Has she been hospitalized?
Yes, she was in the hospital once.
Okay.
A couple of times.
And what was her symptoms then when she was hospitalized?
I can't. She got. Well, she'd get lightheaded and that.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I can
Did
tell
you take her? Did she?
But TC, he doesn't even have to have anybody else involved, right? He could just be buying drugs on the street. He could just be buying drugs on the street and giving them to his wife. So I think like it doesn't even have to be that like elaborate. I think the fact that he's telling all these weird stories behind everything is like that's where he's telling the lies, right? But in reality, he probably purchased some street drugs and just put them in his wife's drink because he didn't know what to do with them. And he's like, "Oh, we'll get everything." He said, "Give me one of each." And he gave his wife one of each. And she would only start to feel unwell, if she's taking drugs that are, messing with her system. MDMA is probably going to have her feeling, super wound up, maybe anxious, belly aches. I think of what do you call it? Not respiratory. What do we call it? Gastrointestinal issues from the different drugs that are going through her system, coke, things like that. I mean, he's just giving her random street drugs at this point. So it's like there's not even like it would be different if they actually found like drops of some like poison or something. Like even if they found drops of antifreeze and it was like consistently antifreeze, that would make sense, right? Okay, they gave him antifreeze in a bottle and he was giving it, but he just is giving her random shit. Like so that leads me to believe that he wasn't planning that properly. He was just getting whatever he can get his hands on. I haven't had any real X. I feel sorry for all the people that think they're doing real X. Oh my goodness, TC. Stop promoting drugs in the chat, okay, guys? I don't want anybody in the YouTube sphere to think that I'm promoting drug use, but I think you do have to be aware sometimes to understand. And they say respect your elders ish. They be killing us. Larry David, actually, he was trying to delete his wife, so he wasn't necessarily deleting a young person. Yui says, where the F is this man finding X in bulk? I don't think it was in bulk. I think he gave her a few doses. And so if he bought a couple of little, what do you call it? It's not weed. So what is it? Pills or whatever. He probably didn't need to buy anything in bulk. This was probably some corner drug dealer that he bought the Coke, the X, and the benzodiazepine. He bought it all from someone on the street corner. Yeah, he had her booted up, and he's talking about she was sleeping. Like, she was not sleeping. You gave her those drugs, and she was probably all uncomfortable. She probably was gardening and shit. But that's really what happened. But I think he was, at this point, he didn't want to own up to what he did. Oh, come on, Ian. Don't try to blame that on me. If you're thinking about doing coke, you already had coke on the brain or X, whatever the heck you're talking about in the chat. I know someone who for through his 20s and 30s and 40s did a lot of E and a lot of drinking and smoking. And now that he's 60, he has early onset dementia. Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games until, I don't know. It's all fun and games until you're old and suddenly you don't have that much life left and you're regretting the fact that you cut your life short by doing all these substances, you know? TC says, but you make it sound like it's an easy thing to purchase these drugs on the street. It's not unless he knows the streets really well. I mean, really, he's an old man, so all he would have to know is one dude who sells drugs. And it's really not difficult to know one dude. So I'm not saying I do, but it's like, come on, if college kids can get it, anybody can get drugs. I see. So where is this corner? I need to know for I'm not going to talk about street drugs, but the point is, this wasn't like, it's not like he got a sophisticated dose of like some lethal poison, right? He got street drugs, and you can find X. You might have to keep looking in different places. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he might have to scope out a few locations before he finds, some actual drugs. But it's different than if he had like a medical grade poison that he was giving her. That would be more plausible that somebody gave him this powder to give to his wife. That would be more plausible than us finding MDMA, coke, like Molly, things like that in her system. No, two very different types of drugs. Now he can't function and is a nursing home with memory care. Yeah, Tina, usually it's unfortunate. You take a bunch of time off of your own life when you do things like that. That's why I've started cutting back and being very, more chill about it. Like not drinking, not even smoking like that, none of that stuff. Just sort of being more in tune with my body, waking up, feeling the energy, all of that, allowing myself to be present. Because I feel like a lot of times people don't realize, even when you just have drinks on the weekend, right? Like you're kind of taking yourself out of the moment because the drink is loosening you up. Your inhibitions are, lowering and things like that. I've enjoyed myself sober, when I've gone out. So I am trying to do more of that so that I can preserve my skin and also my memory. I don't want to be 100, not 100. I don't want to be 60 and looking and acting 100 years old. That's very unfortunate. I have aunts who are 60 that they don't even look 60. So
You have to drive herself.
I took her to the hospital a couple of times.
And then how many times did she go?
It was the sheriff department took her last time.
Well, because of her side effects.
Yeah.
Or because of her illness, you took her a couple times, and how many times were you not able to take her, and she went?
She didn't drive herself.
Okay, you took her every time?
I took her every time.
How many times do you think you had to take her to the hospital after you gave her that substance?
I'd say probably half of the time.
Okay.
I kind of think I need some psychic work done.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Because that last time I felt lightheaded and everything, and I said, this ain't right.
Okay. Sit tight. We'll be right back in, okay?
Okay.
Take this real quick. Is this a working phone?
Yeah, it does work.
Okay.
I don't know how to work it or catch a new phone.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to hold on to it. That way you're hanging out in here, okay?
Okay.
The detectives leave Alfred Ruff in the room for several minutes, and this is a pretty common tactic. They're comparing notes and likely looking at places where they need to clarify what Alfred Ruff told them, and they need to be sure they haven't missed anything. They eventually return and start by asking how exactly Alfred Ruff communicated with his stepdaughter and her friend about drugging his wife.
Sarah had called me a couple of times. And that Sarah had in her head that I wanted to marry her.
Okay. So
Hold up,
There-
hold up. This man is all but 77 and said Sarah was waiting for him to marry her. Come on, dude. Come on. I was literally humoring him this whole time. But this is too delusional. Right? This is too delusional. Chris Brooks says the skin is skin. And thank you very much, Chris. Man needs his future read. You guys are being silly in the chat. Is that not a bizarre lie? Do we seriously believe that a 30-year-old woman was waiting for this old bat to marry her? Like, this is ridiculous. You know, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. This might be early onset dementia, right? He might have been doing ecstasy and coke and all these other things while he was young, and this is what we're seeing. You know, this is the residual damage. Did he say he wanted to marry the stepdaughter? No, he said that Sarah, who was the stepdaughter's friend, wanted him to marry her. So it's not even like he wanted to marry this 30-year-old woman that he can't even get. He's saying that the 30-year-old woman wanted him to marry her. So she was the one seeking out the marriage, even though he knew he couldn't because he was already married. I mean, this guy is literally, this is a fantasy. This is not real. You know, this is all fabricated in his head, but he has the audacity to be sitting in front of the police officers right now telling them this. It sounds like he might have dosed himself. You know, Justin, I definitely think he might have accidentally slipped some in his own Coca-Cola, or maybe he put some in one of the Cokes, and then he just said, you know what, I want to roll the dice, and he switched it up until, you know, he got whichever random one. And he actually has been dosing himself this whole time instead of his wife. TC said, what's this old guy worth? I don't know. Kurt says, women don't want to work. But he's not rich, Kurt. Okay, so don't come in here with the gender war. This man is not rich. And women not wanting to work is not a bad thing, you know. He was probably getting hammered on everything. Oh yeah, I think he bought double doses. So every day, like when he gave his wife the Coke, he had some Coke too. When he gave his wife the Molly, he had some Molly too. So really, it was just supposed to be like couples drug use, but she didn't want to do it voluntarily, so he had to put in her drink. Young women predators take advantage of old men every day. Oh, old men like Elon Musk? Like Elon Musk, you know, the one who, you know, he gets a bunch of women pregnant and then he snatches up the babies like Michael Jackson dangling the baby over the balcony. Yeah. I don't know. His worth is not much. I mean, look at him. What, you're telling me this is a rich guy right here? No jewelry, barely even a watch. I mean, y'all just will say anything to affirm your delusions. TC says, heck, I don't want to work. Exactly. Musk is definitely old. Elon Musk is definitely old. Let me see his age. And I don't care if you guys don't think the age that he is old, but I think he's old. Yeah, he's 53. I mean, come on. 53 is not old to you guys. Stop playing. I don't want to hear it, Kurt. You're so focused on the gender banging. 53 is old. Okay? That is a fossil, nearly.
Calling you said, but you're the one giving her the medicine to put her out. How do they know when you're doing that?
That's when they called me.
Okay, so they call you and say, hey, give it to her tonight?
Yeah.
What are they exactly saying?
They said, you want to have a fling? Give Mom some of that stuff and we'll come up.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
Okay, hold on. You guys said 53 is not old. TC, if you have a 23-year-old daughter If she brings home a 53-year-old man, how are you going to react? How are you going to react? Since 53 suddenly is not old, right? That's a young man. Okay. How would you react if your 24-year-old daughter brought home a 53-year-old man? Justin says, I bet he drives a 20-year-old Ford F-150. He probably does. I'm not trying to attack even the old men, but let's be real. 53 is not young, right? If Elon Musk was like 39, okay. But he's 53 and he has 13 kids. 13 kids. And he snatched the kids up from all, yeah, there is Jesse DeRosa. That's why I said not all, right? But the average 53-year-old man is not hot. Let's be honest, Jesse. Come on, be legit with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you think the average 53-year-old man is hot. And put a 2 if you think not. Because at this point, you guys are gaslighting me. The majority of men who are 53 years old are not attractive. Let's be real. Okay, it's probably going to be like 1 to 2% are going to be attractive. Otherwise, 53 is the new 70. Kurt said Whoopi Goldberg is old. What is going on, Kurt? I have a feeling this is not really about what we're talking about. Because what does Whoopi Goldberg have to do with any of this? Exactly. Right? Majority of 53-year-old men are not attractive. Let's be real. They're not. If Musk pull up right now with that bag, you go in. Why would you think that? Why would you think that, Chris? Right? Why would I want an old, raggedy, dried up sperm billionaire? Why would I want that? It's not that much. How old do you think I am? No, I'm just saying, but the average, okay, I said the average 53-year-old man. All right. I didn't say woman. Most women look better than men, anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like, most women aesthetically look better than men. So the average 53-year-old woman probably isn't hideous. She's probably, regular looking. Maria says raggedy. Who are you calling raggedy? Being attracted doesn't mean nothing. It's all about the money. King David, who told you that? Why did Whoopi catch a stray? I don't know, Gito. He's coming in here just attacking all type of thing. The shots or whatever says, but 53-year-old women are the sexiest. Who said that? I'd be more worried about ball sacks wrinkled up. All right, y'all are getting out of hand. We're gonna finish this video up and move on to the next.
And you would give it to her, right?
I'd give her a little bit, and then after a bit they showed up.
Okay. So the only communication you have with Tasha and Sarah is just through calls?
Yeah.
Do you text them at all?
No, I don't text.
Okay, you don't text or anything like that?
I don't even know how to text that.
Okay.
The detectives wrap up the interview by nailing down Ruff's story just one last time.
And she said, let's get rid of Mom. And then how did you know their goal was to have you marry Sarah?
I didn't. They just kept on.
No, how did you know that their goal was for you to marry Sarah?
They said that once. They didn't know if I was going to marry her.
Who said that?
Sarah. And I said, I ain't marrying you. But
Y'all are not even on topic in chat. Y'all are talking about dried up ball sacks. Y'all got age all disoriented from truth for real. I mean, it's not even that, Zavi. I just don't think 53 is young. Like, let's be real. That's not young. It's not old, right? It's not like a fossil, right? But it's not young. That's what I was really trying to say. TC says I'm 58 and you never guessed that if you saw me. And not 6 months ago, I was wearing a 20. Oh Lord, TC, I did not need to know all that. Joanne says lots of people hanging out. Hit the like, please. Yes, guys, please hit the like button for me. Ew, brother, ew. Okay, y'all are being just gross in the chat. Imagine being this old and still losing your mind over booty. Honestly, I think it's messed up. Even if this was true, right? Why would you be poisoning your wife because of some, the way he's trying to tell it, some little skanks?
Okay. But you knew at that point, the last part of September, that their ultimate goal was to get rid of Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay. And you continued to give Lisa the drug or medicine or whatever the substance was that they gave you from that point until December 29th, correct?
Yeah.
And you gave her upwards of 12 total times of you giving her this substance, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you knew that the goal was to have her get rid of her in order to end up dead, correct?
Yeah.
Was that the ultimate goal?
That was their ultimate goal. I didn't want to kill my wife. I meant
But you were the one giving her the stuff in order to do it.
Stuff to not knowing what the hell it was.
Okay. That is all we need. Okay. Sit tight. We're going to have somebody transport you down to the jail. Okay?
Down to the jail.
Now, where did you think you were going, my dear? He looked at them like, jail? This is why I thought this was like a dementia case. All right, they're escorting him to the jail, and he's like, "What do you mean the jail?" All right, so I want to keep it on the most bizarre one. So we're gonna do Brian Rodriguez next. All right, his name is Brian Rodriguez something something. He got like 4 names, but this one is a case. I want you guys to let me know. Do you guys think this man is delusional, or you think more is going on with this case? All right, this is 18-year-old Brian Rodriguez, and make sure you guys listen closely to what he's gonna say about what happened, why he's police station right now, and how he feels about what he's done.
The problem is that I don't like killing people if they don't deserve it. I don't believe in the dead. I already came from the dead.
You killed Rigo because you feel he deserved it.
He did.
You just saw 19-year-old Brian Rodriguez Sagala, a teenage killer who thinks that murder is his God-given right. And the more he speaks, the more shocked the detective becomes as he realizes the man in front of him is not a sane human being.
Talking about what happened with Rigo.
What happened with the old guy prison? Yeah, he went to they said it in the beginning, but I did kind of smooth past that one very quickly. Let me show you guys what happened in the end here. He ended up going to jail for, hold on, I'm going to share this tab really quickly and then we'll move on.
The judge found that Ruff knew his wife had a disability and called that an aggravating factor, and that there were ways he could have extricated himself from their turbulent relationship. But the judge found mitigating factors as well, and believed that he had a low likelihood of reoffending, expressed genuine remorse, and cooperated with law enforcement. I contacted the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and I was told the women who Ruff mentioned were not charged. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix.
All right, so it looks like, yeah, he did go to jail, but they were kind of light on him because he had never committed a crime before, and they just thought it was a very strange crime. All right, so back to Brian Rodriguez. Yes, and yes, this is the most shocking one. All right, I'm not being sarcastic. This one is going to shock you because he's all over the place. But I want you guys to let me know, do you think he's playing delusional, or do you think he really is delusional?
Rigo.
He died. I sent him to hell where he belongs. I don't feel bad because he deserved it.
On March 26, 2021, around 5:15 p.m., officers from Sparks, Nevada were responding to a complaint at an apartment complex when they encountered a crime scene they never expected. The floor was drenched in blood, and lying there was 67-year-old Javier Rodriguez, lifeless, with 2 bullet wounds, one in his wrist and another in his chest. His fate was sealed long before help arrived. Javier was pronounced dead on the scene. The least the officer could do now was find the truth behind his murder. An investigation soon uncovered that just a night prior, Javier had several guests over, one of whom was 19-year-old Brian Rodriguez Sagala. According to witness testimonies, a gunshot was heard, and Brian was the one seen fleeing the scene. The very next day, on March 27th, officers tracked Brian down, hoping to unravel what led to this brutal murder. But they could have never expected that Brian was not their usual criminal. He was just as chilling as his crime itself.
Hey, Brian, I got that water for you, and we're going to take those cuffs off, okay?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go ahead and stand up, we'll get those cuffs off.
I don't know if it's because he's calm, but something about taking the cuffs off of a deleter doesn't sit right with me. What do y'all think? I would have left the cuffs on him. I would have I don't know if it's just in the movies, but I would have found one of them tables that you can put the cuffs on the table. Because I wouldn't be comfortable talking to somebody who talks about deletion this, this smoothly.
You just relax, you just leave your hand right there, let's go. Okay, Brian, you can take a seat now. Enjoy some water, go ahead. You want it closed? Okay. You can close it. So I just wanted to have a chance to talk to you about what happened.
Well, it's a long story, sir.
Okay. I got the time.
Well, yeah, I know it sounds, because people don't believe on the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, they killed me, and with faith I came back.
Okay.
But the simple thing, it was that I confessed it, everything, but all my wrong things, and with the faith that I had, I came back. I got out. It's like me standing up and seeing my own body, sir.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, I just closed my eyes, but I knew I was going up,
Okay.
Because I felt I went up. But at the same time, when I opened my eyes, I see my body just not there anymore. I'm like, what? But just curious because I got the Bible, and then I started believing on the Bible. And then, in my room, yeah, I got all the things.
So hopefully you guys didn't miss him, right? In the beginning, he said, such and such deleted me, right? It was like standing over my body and watching myself. Okay, so he's having some level of, I think he personally is having an episode of sorts. That's why he keeps talking about himself being outside of his body. Yes, get aboard the like train, y'all. Make sure you guys hit the like button for me. We got 256 people in here. Feel free to help me get my channel further in the algorithm. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. Make sure you guys engage with me in the chat. All of that will help, and I'll appreciate it, okay? Let's continue.
That I went through the Bible and stuff, and yeah, all that things. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
What happened to Rigos?
Yeah, he was my family member, whatever.
Okay.
But all the people that went and visited to his house, he did people wrong.
Okay.
He tied people up, like it's like a wedding thing, but they tied them with black magic.
Oh.
And yeah, he did that to me too, because yeah, I met him because of one of my friends, and then yeah, because of drugs.
So what did you do because of that?
I had to do what I had to do, sir.
Okay.
Shoot him. I told him first. I'm like, hey, you could just say sorry and just apologize. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry. But he actually didn't mean it. He did it again, but doing it worse, like meaning it.
Okay.
And so, well, the Bible never lies, sir. I told him I got double face. I'm Lalo, but I'm usually Brian. But, just confess and try not to do it again. Nah, the next day, it's just funny how he tried to take me, like, to bed, a relationship, but I'm not gay, sir. So I'm always straight. And then he's like, no, well, we're gonna have to do
Jesse, I do think to some degree the way he's speaking is to separate himself. He kind of speaks about himself in like a third party for part of it, but then he talks about the intentions of them in a spiritual way. I don't know, very weird, very, very strange, but it sounds like he's experiencing something like currently, like with the way he sees things. There's like a perception is off. Charles says it's all BS. Really? You think so? You think it's BS? I don't know if I would say BS because of his calm demeanor. And there it is, Black Magic, to answer your question. He's Delulu. Brent, every time I hear like Black Magic, Santeria, I'm like, okay, somebody wants to escape accountability, right? Because yes, all these spiritual things are real, but when you take the action, there is no Santeria, right? You did it, not the demon, not the evil. Somehow you were manipulated to do it on your own. You can't blame an outside entity, right? It'll never work. So difficult to get the I'm crazy defense. Yeah, very few. I think maybe like 5% of people who actually claim insanity actually get it. But from how he sounds here, I don't know. Yeah, he thinks he's reincarnated. He came back as a man who is not quite. Joanne, you are silly. I was not thinking that. Legions of demons. Even if the cops think you are really nuts, they'll still put you in Gen Pop. Yeah, and then when you're in Gen Pop, you'll do something crazy and you'll end up, in in solitary or some other weird place. A demon took over his body. I don't know if that's what he means, because he's saying he got the chance to come back and get revenge, right? That's the whole reincarnated thing that he's talking about here. So let's listen closely though, because the way he's describing it, he doesn't sound like a liar. He sounds like he believes everything he's saying. I think he's disturbed. I don't think this is deliberate at all. And notice he brought in a gay scenario, right? He just said, the man tried to take me to bed. I told him no. So first he was saying that this man deserved it because he brings people to his place and ties them up, right? Ties them up with black magic, which I don't know what he means by that. Maybe it has something to do with his sexuality, right? Let's keep hearing the delusions from him though.
In the bad ways and the good ways. We go into bed, you're gonna sleep with me. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because I'm not gay, first of all, and second of all, I like females. I don't like fools, especially because you are my, I don't know, couple of Rodriguez,
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird, but yeah, the Bible never lies. And I do confess I did it. Yes, I did it.
Within barely 4 minutes of the interrogation, Brian has not only confessed to murder, but also revealed his motive and justified it. According to Brian, Javier had allegedly attempted to coerce Brian into unwanted sexual acts, which Brian believed to be a great sin, and he wanted Javier to confess. But when he failed to do so, Brian did what he thought he must as the savior and shot Javier to death. This was only the start of his religious fanaticism, because as this interrogation goes on, it becomes increasingly evident that he is far more mentally disturbed than officers could have imagined.
What were you doing before that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just reading the Bible.
Okay.
Reading the Bible and just sitting in the living room.
Do you remember what time you went?
See, everything is religious now. Oh, I'm just reading the Bible. Yeah, I'm just reading the Bible. Yeah, before they came in the house and before we went to this party, I was just reading the Bible. No, you weren't, sir. Right? That's a cover up for why you deleted this man. I honestly think maybe he had some issues with sexuality too. That's what I'm getting. Right? Because he said he'd been introduced to this man through one of his friends. If this man is someone takes men to the bed, you wouldn't just be going over there if you were worried about him, coming after you. I don't know. I'm going to leave that alone. Touchy subject. Demons can't do anything with us without our permission. Exactly, Bishop. You're 100% right. You're even if you don't know that you're giving them permission, there's ways that you're giving spiritual consent. Exactly. Good point, Bishop.
Over to Rico's?
It was about to, when all that happened, it was about to be 12, 30 years.
Okay.
I walked out.
And where did you go afterwards?
Home.
You went home?
Straight home and read the Bible again.
Okay.
Yeah.
What time did you go to bed?
I usually never sleep.
You never sleep? Okay. When was the last time you slept?
The last time I slept, it was like at 5 in the morning the same day.
Okay.
And I woke up early today.
Okay.
Early
What
today.
time did you get up today?
As soon as when I got the first phone call of the neighbor of Rito.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that make you? How did that make you feel when he asked you to sleep with him?
Not comfortable. Not comfortable at all.
Okay.
Because, like, first of all, of course, I would not sleep with someone I don't like to sleep, you know? Especially with a dude.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, man, I'm not like that. But it's just funny because, and weird, because we're watching TV, and it's like a simple, like, he's controlling people over the TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I'm like, hey, I could do it too, you know, but for me it's not a good simple thing to do because I like people having their own time.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, people are ruining my family, but doesn't mean I gotta ruin someone's. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I want them to see them happy.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I never did, but I know I'm gonna do it. Because for his fault, yeah, my mom and my dad never got along.
Mm-hmm.
My mom right now she's in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did Rigo react when you didn't want to sleep with him?
I know he did not like it, and then yeah, he's like, yeah, you trying to smoke weed, like like how's it called? Giving me drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I was smoking weed, couple things, but it doesn't mean like I was just.
So somebody asked about drugs. Weed doesn't do this, right? Weed isn't going to make you feel like this. I do think, kind of how Jesse was saying here, I think something happened between them or tried to happen. Maybe they made out or something, and he got really guilty. He felt really guilty afterwards, right? And I think that's why he says he deserved it, right? Because if he's justifying deleting him via the Bible and saying, oh, he was evil and he deserved it because he was gay because that's a sin or whatever, that could be how he's tying all of this into his religiosity. That's what I think. I don't know how true that is, but why else would the gay thing come up, right? Why would he need to mention, oh, he was trying to take me to bed? That wouldn't even matter, if that wasn't, in some ways, that didn't have some context in this story here. Sam May said, controlling me through the TV. Yeah, he has some delusions. Now that's called meth in the Bible. Wow, you got it, John. He said that's meth in the Bible. I didn't know that cocktail together could cause the delusions that he's having, but that makes a lot of sense.
Doing it I was going like for me, like to, oh yeah, I want to, so I'm just gonna just appreciate it and just do it. No, I was doing it because the Bible was there, and the Bible is my life. The Bible is me, my brain.
Where was the Bible?
On top on the TV.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Bible and the cross, that ones are the original.
Okay.
The special ones. I took them to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I told him, hey, appreciate the Bible, because if not, I'm going to have to do what I got to do. Because for your fault, and for others that I appreciate, yeah, I got through hell, and I came from hell.
So it sounds like there was an argument after he asked you to sleep with him and you said no?
It was the next day, because
Okay.
the night when I did everything, he was with
Exactly, John, right? The Bible views it as a sin. So if he's using the Bible as a logic for what he's done, then yeah, that would be something that he does that can be absolved of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could be justified in what he's doing because it was against a sin. Methaholic defined. I was just smoking weed. Nah, he was just testing his own curious body. Don't you feel great being free? I would not want to swap places. Plenty of straight men would rearrange this another man's life for hitting on them. Well, I just feel like if you got to go that far, right, like you have an insecurity about it, right? Because I just think if you're just a normal straight person, you don't need to be so angry that somebody would mistake you. You know what I mean? Like, unless they came and tried to touch you, then that's different. Like, I could understand being upset, but like, otherwise, it just seems like an extreme response, in my opinion.
working, I don't know who he was.
Okay.
But he was doing the same thing what he did to me.
Oh.
He was sleeping with him, you know?
Okay.
So everything what everybody does, or I don't know if he did it to everybody, but yeah, like how I did it, I started. He was starting with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was his. How do you call it? Like if I'm with someone and his brother is like a brother sister-in-law or something like that.
Okay. Like a relative?
Something like that.
Okay.
Well, that one dude, I don't even know him, but I gave him a coin, and that coin, yeah, it's a company card
Uh-huh.
because my grandpa he has companies, and yeah, I gave it to him. I was like, hey, I want you to work with me, and I appreciate you
Mm-hmm.
because like he tried to help me out too, and then
Okay.
he tried to put him against me, and I'm like, nah, don't even try it, dude, because my issues is the Bible, and the Bible is way more powerful
Okay.
of the bad spirits because I seen him like trying to scratch himself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, dude, just stop it. When I looked at Rigos, and Rigos, I took it to his position, to him. Rigo just jumped. He's like, oh, it hurts. Stop it. And I'm like, well, you stop it because you're making other people just feel bad. And then, yeah, I did everything. I shot him. I don't feel bad because he deserved it.
Okay. So you didn't feel bad after you shot him?
No, because for me, I feel like I helped a lot of people, not just one.
Mm-hmm. Well, what did you do to help a lot of people?
Just appreciate everything what they did to me, and I will not do them what they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because for him and another female, and the female, yeah, her name is Gloria. Gloria.
Okay.
She's another one.
What happened with Gloria?
She's the one who killed me, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
She killed
wow.
my brother.
Him and Gloria have been beefing spiritually for many, many lives, right? Because he believes that he's reincarnated. But him and Gloria have been beefing, um, through different lifetimes. Never waste energy being angry over some stranger. I agree with that. I don't think like regardless, I'm not gonna be mad because someone is gay and thinks I'm attractive or something. Like it's one thing like trying to touch me, hitting on me. I'm gonna just be like respectfully, nah, I'm straight. You know what I mean? Like literally, I'm straight. but outside of that, I'm not gonna be like, oh, don't you come over here? Do I look like a lesbian to you? Like I have no reason to do that because I know I'm not. You know what I mean? I also know someone might find me attractive, right? A woman might find me attractive. It doesn't mean that she's trying to harm me. It's just her, And same for a guy. Guy might find you attractive. They're not trying to hurt you. They might just find you attractive. Glorilla's real name is Gloria Hallelujah. Yeah, she has an interesting name. Sam A says, "What's the actual story here?" Well, from what he's saying, the man that he deleted, he deserved it because, he died. Look, two bullet wounds, one in his wrist and one in his chest. So, and he was DOA by the time the police got there. But he actually deleted this man. It's just they're trying to figure out for what reason, right? Why did he delete this man? And the reasonings and the story that he's giving them is so bizarre, that they're just sitting here like, what really happened? He needs to ask for a burger. It's all green bologna from here. Yeah. I don't think he's worried about food, John says, bro, I've had straight men, straight women, gay women all give me a compliment, flirt with me, and I've never been offended, and I'm a straight man. Exactly. Because you're not going to be offended because sometimes attraction is just about aesthetic beauty a lot of the time, right? So if somebody hits on you, a lot of it has to do with what you look like. I'm not going to be so offended by someone thinking I look good just because of their sexuality. No, that's fine. Okay, thank you, but I'm not interested, right? Or thank you, I'm not of that persuasion, right? And leave it at that. But it's never something to get upset about. I think the ones that get upset, low key, they have something in them like, ooh, he finds me cute, huh? Like that they actually like it and they don't want to say, and that's why they get all riled up. Because otherwise, there's no reason to get all riled up about it. His responses are a bit over exasperated. Everything goes back to the Bible. He 100% knew he was walking into. Gloria deleted him. Now Gloria's demon talked you into allowing her to. Yeah, Gloria is his arch nemesis too. You know, he's saying that Gloria deleted him in the past life. She once wanted to get effed. Also 2025. Are you okay, Tyrone? Are you okay? You better call Tyrone. He's got nothing to deny because in his mind he did nothing wrong. Same. I've had gay dudes hit on. I mean, all people have had a gay person hit on them. It doesn't mean the person was trying to harm you. That's why I don't feel like it makes any sense to get all bold and angry about it and be like, I'm gonna steal on you, you know. And you can't judge others by your standards. Picture you accepting what a man thinks as necessary for you. Okay. I've had stray dogs come up and sniff me. Okay, Ian, somebody needs to take your computer. You've been in the chat just saying anything. But let's hear a little bit. We're going to hear more of this story. I'm probably going to do one more after this because it's only 10:30, guys. But for an old lady like myself, I like to rue the day, right? I like to take advantage of every last minute of the day. So sitting behind a computer screen for 4 hours is not feasible daily, but I can do it every couple of days. So let's continue. I'm gonna do one more after this, and then I'll send you guys off into your Sunday.
My dad against me.
Okay. Yeah. Where did you get the gun?
I had it.
Brian clearly experiences religious delusions. He constantly mentions the Bible and justifies the murder by saying that Javier was a sinner who got what he deserved. Keeping this in mind, it is easy to conclude that Brian presents a disturbing personality profile characterized by grandiosity, a lack of empathy, and distorted religious beliefs bordering on delusion. His clear disregard for the victim's life also hints at possible antisocial tendencies. To make things worse, his sense of grandiosity and distorted religious beliefs are only fueled by a history of drug abuse from the age of 15.
Way before I got off probation.
Okay.
But, it's my first time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I usually, when I want to go shoot, I go to the hills and shoot the bottles.
Uh-huh.
I don't. Since my first case, when I shot at the shotgun, yeah, I stopped doing that.
Okay.
Shooting at the air, that's stupid.
Okay.
But I mean, usually when I want to go, I go to the hills and shoot at the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And so, how long have you had the pistol?
Since when I moved on to, because I moved on to St. Pebbles. Moved down from St. Pebbles, I think September.
Okay.
September or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you remember how many times you shot?
I shot a couple times, but it's because when I went to the hills and just shot at the bottles. But shot at the people, never. Just my first time.
At Rigo's, how many times did you shoot?
Just twice.
Okay.
Just twice.
And what happened after you shot him?
It was weird because the first shot, it was like from here to wall. I know I shot him on the chest. I don't know if it went through.
Okay.
But the second shot, it did. I seen it. But it was just 2 shots.
Okay. Where were you when you shot him?
In the living room.
In the living room? Do you remember where you... Could you tell me what the living room looked like?
The living room is like me standing in the living room, and then the kitchen. And the kitchen, the whole lights before everything happened, and I'm like, okay. So I read the Bible. I put the Bible up there. And I'm like, alright, you're gonna meet the double face, the one you don't want to meet, Lalo. So as soon as when I said it, he jumped. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry. And then he said, and I'm like, alright. So he was right in his room standing and looking to the kitchen.
Okay.
And so I was like, alright, sorry. And I just shot him twice. And as soon as when I shot him, I walked away. I didn't.
What else was in the living room that you remember?
Lalo is a separate evil entity that Brian's delusional framework has created. He would later claim Lalo is the devil, but no biblical figure with a similar name exists. He likely has some form of dissociative disorder, which leads him to attribute certain actions and behavior to the so-called devilish personality of Lalo. This way of thinking is so severe that he has blurred the lines between reality, religion, and his fictitious beliefs, so much so that he can no longer separate his own personal thoughts or moral compass from the entities he believes in.
Could you just describe the living room and the kitchen area? Was there anything in particular that you remember about it? Any pieces of furniture, or you mentioned that there was a Bible. Was there anything else?
I put the Bible on top of the TV.
Okay.
And then
Ian, what is wrong with you? He says when a gay guy looks at me, I feel fear. You guys are just trolling in here. We're supposed to be talking about a very serious crime committed by somebody who seems very unstable. But you know, the dissociative parts of it are the fact that he keeps trying to bring the religion in it, right? The Bible made me. This person's name, Lalo. Lalo is in the Bible. There's no Lalo in the Bible. Who's Lalo? I would never expect him to have a blicky. Why do you say that, Chris? Why do you think that? I mean, the vest to me would give like he got a blicky in the vest, but that's just me. He definitely seems like a shooter, but I wasn't expecting it to be like a shot thing. I thought maybe he like stabbed him or something. Javier looked good for a 67-year-old. Did they show us a picture of Javier? Yeah, Javier looked young. He's 60. He was 67 years old at the time. You know, I think there was something sexual going on here. I'm going to say this. I think there was something sexual because one, Javier is 60 something years old. He's older than this young man. He mentions this man wanting to take him to the bed. There's a power dynamic there, right? Maybe Javier had money, other things, and that's what got Brian to even go there in the first place. But I don't think that he was interested in the man like that. Maybe he was just there because he knew he could get something out of it. And then once he was confronted with the, sexual aspect of it, he, what do you call it? He sort of snapped, right? He was like, oh no, I'm not doing this. And, took the man's life. I do think that his religiosity he's not as religious as he's claiming to be, right? He's using that as a crutch for his actions. Christians are fairly crazy. Wow, Slapper, happy. Is that how you feel? John says Lalo is a Spanish fictional character and one of the main antagonists in the AMC television series Better Call Saul. Is it really? So he just chose a random name. But that could be also a name from his culture. I don't know what kind of Spanish he is, but that sounds like a Spanish name. So Lalo is a Mexican gangster in Better Call Saul. They crossed in and up, plus up to no good. It's the money grab the boy was on. He declined on the price, though. Yeah, I don't think he was willing to give up Hatuchus. I think he was all in until he realized the guy actually wanted something out of him. And because he's a little crazy and, a little off, when the guy approached him like that, he saw it in like this evil way and just took his life. It could have also been like a PTSD thing where it was like, oh my God, this reminds me of a traumatic event. And so I'm going to delete you, right? As a response to it. So I believe he's like 21. And actually, I think they said he was 18 when he did this. 19-year-old. Yeah, Brian Rodriguez Segala. So he was very young, very, very young. It's definitely giving a John. Yeah. It's definitely giving a John. He's been watching and practicing Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul all while smoking that crystal meth. Maybe. Is this like a storyline from that show? I've never seen Better Call Saul. But if he's just making something up trying to pretend that he's crazy, then that would be pretty sick too.
Yeah, I put the Bible, and then I left my backpack on the living room.
Okay.
And then when I shot it twice, I believe so. The other dude, the one who was sleeping on the bed, he woke up.
Oh.
And I opened the door, but before I opened the door, I'm like, pray to the Bible. Jesus Christ, your Savior.
Okay.
Just walked out. I didn't run, I did nothing, I just walked out. No.
Okay.
And that's it. Just went to go smoke some cigarettes.
And you said you went home afterwards?
Yes, sir.
Well, this apartment you're talking about, Rigo's apartment, how many bedrooms are in there?
Just one.
Okay. And you mentioned there's a kitchen.
There's a little dog too, a little brown dog.
A little brown dog? Okay. Um, how long have you known Rigo?
Since when I died and came back.
Do you remember when that was? What date that was?
No, sir.
Okay. And you mentioned that he was.
They've been talking to him, at least on this video, for 16 or so minutes. But they could have had him there for a long time. You know, they could have been sitting there and he's coming off of a drug, or he could have already been coming down when he was brought into the, to the police station. He is very young. He's 19, Suzanne. He's very, very young. So just the fact that he was with a, 67-year-old man in his home, something was off there. There was a that wasn't a normal relationship for him to have with another male, right? To just be hanging out with some random 67-year-old, not family, not not any type of business. Joanne says we did not need to know that information. I'm just, my chat is being so bizarre today, but I still appreciate everyone who comes in. Make sure you guys like the video, the stream as you're coming in, as you're exiting. Please, please, please hit the like. All that does is help push me further, right? Push me further into the algorithm. So if you guys can do that for me, I would appreciate it. All right, let's continue.
Is he like a family relative of some kind?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because for his fault, and the female I'm saying, my mom and my sister and everybody, yeah, we were struggling. My mom then had a couple with my dad, because when we were a little kid, we had an issue. My dad, I don't know if he hit my mom or whatever. So my grandpa, me and my mom and my sister and my brother, we went to Mexico, and then my grandpa was sick, and my dad stayed here working, and then we had to leave because my mom wanted to see my dad, And then what Rigo had on his leg, that happened to my grandpa. The same thing, his leg got swallowed.
And what are you talking about? What happened to Rigo's leg?
Well, it was karma, sir.
Okay. Do you know what was the thing that you're talking about?
Well, so when we went back to Mexico, my grandpa had an accident, right?
Okay.
They chopped his leg off.
Oh wow.
He didn't survive. He passed out.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so all that I lived, it was because of him. He tied me. He was. Have you went to my house yet?
I haven't been to your house now.
So if you go to my house, sir, I got the books. I got everything.
Okay.
And there's more. What's it called? More proof.
Okay.
And yeah, I got a little dog. That little dog is my little sister that he had inside his house.
Okay. Brian, do you remember what clothes you were wearing when this happened at Rigo's house?
Yes, sir. I was wearing a straight.
Now, why did I go look up what pinch a loaf means? Because I thought it was like some type of drug slang. You are a hot mess. I'm just going to say that. Sorry, guys, for interrupting for that literal bullshit. But I was like, what is pinch a loaf? And I go look it up, and it literally means to take a dump. So anyways, let's continue.
Straight hat.
A straight hat?
Straight hat, eagle, and a bunny, white, and not like darkest, but yeah, it's like the buns.
Okay.
I walked down the stairs when I came out.
What shoes were you wearing?
Nikes.
Nikes? Were it these ones or were they different ones?
The Air Forces.
Air Forces? Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened to those clothes that you were wearing?
They're in my house.
They're in your house? Where do you keep your clothes in your house?
In my room.
In your room? Okay.
Well, I got a twin brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other weapons in your house?
No, sir.
No? Okay. And
I had 9 clips, but that's it.
Okay. Do you have any other kind of ammo in your house?
Yes.
What kind of ammo do you have?
The shotguns and the big ones, but it was just like collecting.
Okay. Do you have any ammo that would work with your pistol?
No, sir.
No. Where do you buy your ammo?
Well, I usually I could get it myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually text one of my cousins that his name is Ricky.
Uh-huh.
But nowadays I don't see him. He went homeless because I like helping homeless.
Okay, that's nice of you. Who did you get the gun from when you first got it?
Myself.
Okay.
When I was a little kid, I used to work in the cartel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just passing weed, just a lot of weed.
Okay.
I used to struggle when I was 8 for the whole reason.
Okay.
Brian claims to have ties with a cartel, though there's no proof to confirm this. However, it's possible given the strong influence cartels have in Mexico. If true, it could explain his deteriorating mental state and lack of empathy. This is because being exposed to the extreme violence of organized crime at 8 years old when the brain is still developing could have deeply affected Brian. At such a young age, witnessing these atrocities can lead to lifelong behavioral and emotional issues. More specifically, dissociative disorders, which primarily develop between the ages of 7 and 9, especially in children who endure severe trauma or abuse. It is likely what he witnessed and learned in cartels also broke his moral compass.
I'll definitely agree. I definitely think that he has normalized violence because the fact that he just, pewed that guy 2 times like nothing, and really for a dispute that we don't know. We don't know what this dispute really was, right? There definitely was some type of interaction where Javier requested sexual favors or whatever from him, right? But does that warrant you deleting somebody? Right? You'd only do that level of callous violence if you were accustomed to seeing and experiencing that. John says there's a like and a sub, and I never sub. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. The fact he asked where he gets his ammo, he's like, bruh, I'm Mexican. I can get whatever I want whenever I want. Yeah, it's actually very, scary to know that there are men like him walking around, right? That they have a very lack of empathy, and they're very callous when it comes to violence. They have no issues with being violent, because that means you could possibly do something to him that will cause him to want to like delete you on the spot. Very unpredictable. It's kind of scary. Brett says I'd be tossing out coherent thoughts and sentences all day. Yeah. There's the traumatic PTSD event that he slipped into when he guy he killed had the same leg problem as his grandfather, and he called it karma. So his grandfather did something to earn his karma. I mean, he's seeing all of it through this like very strange lens of like, I'm coming back. I was dead and then I reincarnated and I'm getting revenge on the person who deleted me in my first life. I mean, all of it is very bizarre. So I think maybe what they're not accounting for in this, and we're going to see if they're going to, but what they're not accounting for is like the personality changes, like the differences in the personality as well. But let's continue.
Gave him paranoia and eliminated his empathy as he displayed a callous dismissal of the victim's life. This exposure to crime was likely what
See, the victim for a 67-year-old looked pretty good, no? I'm just saying, like, he looked very young, so I think maybe that was maybe that's why he called him a devil too. His eyes tell you everything. The eyes are dead. Yeah, there's no life behind them. Dissociation is a scary one. You could end someone and not remember or think it was just a dream. Exactly. You could be involved in something very egregious and then not even realize it. Like, snap out of it one day and be like, that wasn't me. That was, somebody else. And then that's literally what it feels like to them. Everyone can get a gun and ammo anytime they want, depending on where you are, Liz, for sure. This is how it went down. Young guy wanted to see one up close, found Gramps, went to his house. Gramps tonsil boxed him something good. The young guy found out Gramps knows his dad, so he shot him. Oh, my Lanta. That's an interesting theory, Jamie. Interesting theory. Who been telling that 67-year-old white man black people skin secrets? My bad. He looked very young. That could be an older photo of him. But I'm just gonna say this as well. The gays tend to keep very good health. They like looking aesthetically pleasing, a lot of them. So that would make sense as well that he's 67. He looked very young. um, Undercover Cop and Undercover Brothers 2025. Tyrone, you are a hot mess. But honestly, it could have been that type of situation. Because look at him. He's not somebody you would think that would be hanging out with some old dude that's hitting on him.
Introduced him to drugs, which would further worsen his mental health.
Why is this the first time that you shot somebody?
Because I never killed no one.
Mm-hmm.
Never killed no one.
How come?
Because it's like saying, if you, sir, could carry a gun, why not me?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you got papers, I could get papers too.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter nothing.
Right.
But the problem is that I don't like killing people if they don't deserve it.
Okay.
Even I can, because I don't believe on the dead. I already came from the dead. If I die, I will come back.
So what you're telling me is that you killed Rigo because you feel he deserved it.
He did. I
Okay.
didn't feel he...
Because he deserved it,
He did.
in your words, okay?
Yes, sir.
And you haven't killed other people because they haven't deserved it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I don't feel like killing people just because for fun,
Mm-hmm.
It's like grabbing someone's heart for fun. They did that to me. But I don't feel killing other people just for fun, no. In my words, I just got two people. It's just Rigo and Glory, that's it.
Okay.
Because Glory, she was the one type of people that gives me a lot of meth,
Mm-hmm.
And I did fuck with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what did Gloria say? Hold on. Gloria what? She was the one type of people that gives me a lot of what?
That gives me a lot of meth,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, math. Math. There it is. Gloria's the dealer. Gloria is his dealer. Did you guys hear meth before this? I didn't hear meth. But he said Gloria gave him meth. That makes a lot of sense. The delusions make sense now too, right? Because a lot of what he's doing when he's talking about his crime is sort of just telling a detailed, elaborate story. He thinks if he dies again, he will come back. Yeah, he's not gonna come back as this dude though, right? Because he must have been somebody else for him to have eternal mortal beef with Gloria, right? Gloria could have been somebody else. Yeah, meth is definitely, yeah, meth is it's the problem here. Thought he said men. Yeah, I thought he said men too, Jamie Butler. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I was painted by my bias, but I thought he said men too. I was like, wait, Gloria's getting him men? You heard crack in your head game. What? Let's continue.
fuck with it. I'm not gonna lie. But she tried to put me in a mental hospital.
Oh, really?
When are you gonna believe someone's drug addict in a mental hospital?
Mm-hmm.
What if I tell you there's a bad spirits?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You never will believe no one in there.
Now, the Bible that you mentioned that you put on TV,
Is that New Testament?
Is that your Bible?
Yes, sir.
It is your Bible. Okay. And
the whole Bible connects to that one.
when you left it, how did you position a Bible when you left it?
I don't know if it's the one I took them, but it's a big one.
Okay.
And it should be on the TV or on the cabinet.
Okay.
But my Bible, I have it in my room.
Okay.
It's this one.
Okay, Brian.
You see
How
that little thing in the middle?
are you doing on water? Do you need some more water?
Nah, it's alright.
You okay?
Appreciate it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
Great. I'm feeling happy because now I'm gonna live life.
Okay.
I don't. His disposition is weird, right? He's feeling happy because he's gonna live life. You just confessed to deletion. You just confessed to deletion. Gloria gave him meth, and now I feel guy he killed was giving him meth. Yeah, I think the gay man in the apartment was giving him meth too. That boy is skating on ice. This who thinks meth up, he's not immortal. He's immethyl. You guys with these meth puns. I definitely I didn't think meth though, because he said we were just doing a little bit of weed, and then he comes to meth way later. The guy is into black men, nothing wrong with that. I'm a white guy and I love black females. In my eyes, black females are more refined, smoother skin. Wait, where did this man say he was into black men? Jamie, you're about to get spanked. Okay, you're about to get a timeout in the chat. What are you talking about? All right, nobody talked about black men as his interest. Okay, so I'm gonna continue the video.
Will you sit tight just for a minute? I'll be right back. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me?
Let's say, what was it?
If you want to think about it, I'll be right back.
It's just saying, can you contact the government to open the borders?
I don't think I have the power to do that.
Is he an agent? Did Mexico send him here for psychological warfare? Because I don't get how that came. I don't get how that got into the conversation. He said, "Can you open the borders?" Hold on. I need to understand how this happened.
Will you sit tight just for a minute? I'll be right back, okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me?
Let's say, what was it?
If you want to think about it, I'll be right back.
It's just saying, can you contact the government to open the borders?
I don't think I have the power to do that. But if you think of any more questions, just sit tight for just a minute, okay? I'll be right back, Brian. Thanks.
Dude is a Latino for Trump, He was a Latino for Trump. That's how this plays into it. No, well, how long ago was this? Okay, this was in 2021. Oh, wow. Okay, let's continue.
Hey, Brian. We talked a little bit about Gloria and how she tried to take you in and
Mental hospital?
yeah. And you talked a little bit about using meth. You said you messed with it a little bit. Can you tell me just a little bit about that?
Well, she put me and my brother against me by I don't know if you ever seen that the cartoons that you want to eat the apple. Well, yeah, it's her.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you first use meth?
Me, I started when I was like 15.
Okay. And are you currently using it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How often do you use it?
I don't use it as much. The only thing I use is weed and tobacco.
Okay.
A couple sometimes just beer.
How often do you think you use meth?
Like 3 times a week or so.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? He said, I usually just do tobacco and cigarettes. And weed. How often do you do meth? 3 times a week? You would think he's talking about going to the dentist. That is crazy.
Oh, with Rigo.
With Rigo?
Rigo and her.
Okay. Rigo and Gloria? Do they give you meth or do they sell you meth?
Well, they never sold me, but I got some.
Okay.
I'll go buy some. I will be back. But I know they were the drug dealers, so.
Okay. And you mentioned before that that Rigo deserved it. Now, when you went over that day, were you planning on killing him?
No, sir.
Okay. You mentioned that he had asked you to sleep.
Yeah, Brent, it's possible that the people who invited him over were doing the drugs with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very possible. Because otherwise, yeah, he sounds very incoherent. He sounds like all over the place. Listening to him talk, he can't stay on subject. I wouldn't invite him to my house either. So again, if he's inviting this young boy to his house, because he's 19, so he's very young, right? What reason? And is he supplying him with the meth? Jamo says 3 times a week for the dentist. I just meant like he was talking about it like it was a good thing. You know what I mean? Like he's like, oh, I just do it 3 times a week or so. You know, or like how someone describes how often they have a few drinks. 3 times a week of drinks would be a lot. 3 times a week of meth is a lot. Okay? And especially depending on how much you're doing it. What's shocking about this interrogation? The fact that you're here. Ironic, inappropriate comments. Right? I think that's what's shocking. All right, let's continue.
With you, and that created.
He's one of those like people that are stuck in their brains. Like,
Okay.
it's like telling you to do something without even speaking with you.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's possible. Yes, it is.
Okay. When did you decide to shoot him?
When I told him to confess with the truth and meaning it, because it's like going to church, confessing and not meaning it. You gotta mean it to be free of, or Hezekiah is like saying.
According to several researchers, extensive methamphetamine use can significantly damage the brain's prefrontal cortex, which is involved in memory, decision-making, and impulse control. This alteration of the brain's functioning leads to
impulse control, especially, is the more dangerous one, I would say there, right? The impulse control where something happens and you make a knee-jerk reaction, right? You have a knee-jerk response, or you have an impulse to go buy meth, and instead of thinking about why buying meth is bad, you just go buy meth, right? It's a lot of impulsive decisions like that. So very interesting. Make sure you guys hit the like button for me. This one was a very bizarre case. All right, we're gonna hear a little bit more, but it appears he's already told everything he's done. You know, he's cooked at this point. He maybe thinks that he's free. I believe he was carrying the burden of this crime, and that's why he said, I'm free now. But I really truly think that it's just the fact that he confessed, you know. But let's continue.
User experiencing several issues such as paranoia, delusional thinking, and hallucinations. The constant release of dopamine is also linked with extreme feelings of confidence, and in Brian's case, it leads to him developing grandiosity so severe that he believes he has the power to influence the country's border.
Kid that everybody talks about, but it's everybody connected to my brain.
Okay.
You know? And if I've been talking bad about someone that I even know, yeah, it looks stupid. And
so somebody asked where this is. This is out of Sparks, Nevada. All right, so that's where this happened. They responded to the crime scene. I guess somebody called it in, and Javier was laying there. The least the officer could do was find the truth behind his murder. An investigation soon uncovered that just the night prior, Javier had several guests over, one of whom was 19-year-old Brian. So again, he wasn't really alone with Brian, right? It looks like there was other people at the party, but at some point they had to be alone for him to shoot him. You know what I mean? Yeah, the psychosis from drug use is real. Absolutely. Chris said, I'm just passing through my 18-wheeler from DC. Texas is its own country. It definitely is. It had a very wild, wild west vibe when I was out there a while back. I just got here when I watched the whole video, and what's his name, please? Where you can look it up. I'll put it in the chat a little bit later. Not an excuse, but death a side effect. Yeah. I told you Nevada or New Mexico. Yeah. I mean, I thought Nevada was, well, outside of Vegas, I thought Nevada was quiet. But I guess it has its own little Wild Wild West feel. You're right. It's not a good excuse, but it is an explanation. It does. It gives us more context, for sure. But let's continue.
It's not respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So the day when I come and I ask him hey, you're the one kid that, yes sir, the mankind, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, you know?
Okay.
And then if I say, yeah, of course, no worries, because I appreciate the people who apologize, because now they will in 9 days see how I am.
Okay.
Like, they didn't thought the opposite, you know, like, oh yeah, this fool was fucked up and shit, you know?
Okay.
But
What
yeah,
was it that you were trying to get Rigo to confess?
all the damage he did, all the world.
Okay. And did you bring the Bible with you when you went to his house? The one that you said on the TV?
I gave him one Bible, the original one, but I don't know if he threw it away or didn't.
Okay.
Because he had the Bible in the counter, and the Bible was inside the bag, and one page was ripped.
Okay.
So he likes experimenting with the Bible. So the Bible is my life. Because the Bible, it's me, Jesus Christ,
Okay.
your Savior.
Okay.
So yeah, I told him the right way. So
Cristo. I thought his name was Brian. When did he become Jesus? Hold on, I got something for you guys. Hold on. Okay, let's continue.
So, man, thanks for you. Yeah, I have a double face. I'm Lalo. Lalo's the devil. You know, and then, but I do know I control my actions because I'm not that type of person that, yeah, I'm gonna force everything on the right way. No. I can force everything on the right way and bad way. That's why I'm a Cancer.
Now, the other guys that were in the apartment, do you know those guys?
I just know one of them.
Which one do you know?
Chaparro.
Chaparro? Do you know his real name?
No, sir.
And how do you know Chaparro?
He lives with he lives on second storage, all the way on the left. And the one who called me, curly hair, he lives all the way on top. But that's the only two persons I know. But I don't know their real names.
Okay.
But the one dude that was staying that one night, I don't know him at all.
Okay. After you left, did you talk to anybody about this?
No. But I talked to them before I left. I was like, yeah, I told them, hey, you know who is Jesus Christ and my brother, San Judas? He was like, no. You know, they were making a laugh of it. But before that, I walked towards them and I was like, yeah, you know them? No, and I showed them all my wallet and everything. I showed them the proof. The Bible never lies, you know? And then as soon as when I showed them, like they calmed down, like the over bad negative things. Like it feel like when you're so nervous and then I showed you something, then now you feel like less what's it called? And like everything relaxes. And so he's like, oh yeah, that's what's up. But he was confused, and then when he went inside the room, Rigo came out with I don't know, with the spray thing, with like a holes. He started showering everything, but it was like smoke or whatever. But it was when he was tying the whole soles and everything.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the f***? Are you for real? And I told him like, man, the f*** is this?
Okay.
I told him, hey, stop it. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna stop. And so I told him, alright, so you're not gonna confess and just stop your shit. I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do.
Did you and Chaparro and Rigo use meth that night?
I didn't.
You did not?
No, sir.
Okay.
I asked him if they were like, hey, you don't got some? I know he did have some, and a lot, because he's a drug dealer or whatever.
How'd that make you feel when he told you no? And
It made me feel great, sir.
Okay.
Because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stop it, and then less and less and less. And so he was like, no, I don't got nothing. And so the other dude, Chaparro, he got upset about it. He left.
Okay.
And so when he left, I told him too. I was like, hey, you should leave because I'm gonna tell him on the right way to confess. If you don't confess, I don't want you to be around because, you know.
Okay. So that's why Chaparro left? Because you told him that you were going to talk to him.
Yeah, I told him without speaking with him. I told him on my break.
Oh, okay. Brian, what do you think should happen to you because you shot Rico?
For me? I mean, can I ask you a question? How many people have you killed?
I haven't killed anybody, Brian.
And what about other officers?
I don't know the number. I don't know the answer to that question. I couldn't tell
Right?
you.
Well, I do got the questions. Because I'm the law now, and I'm the judge.
Yeah.
We're speaking with what? With real words. Truth, words. The Bible never lies.
Well, I'm just wondering what you
So I
thought
was
about
just
that.
wondering, that's why I was asking you a question earlier. Do you think you could call the government from Donald Trump or whatever, to open the borders and open the law?
I don't have that kind of authority.
Well, I got the power.
And Brian,
And I want that to be justice for all.
you had your phone with you. What's the password to get into your phone? Is there a particular password?
And my question, why do you guys want to go through my phone for?
Well, because it's part of the case.
What case?
Well,
Can I go through your phone?
no.
No, right? So I said no.
Okay. If it's your choice if you don't want to give me.
No,
the
it is my
passcode.
choice.
Yeah. So if you don't want to give me the passcode, that's okay. I'm just asking.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you asking, sir, but no.
The fact that he just sat there and confessed to this whole thing, and now he's like, nope, you can't see my phone. It's insane. They're gonna get in your phone either way, Bandit. You know, he is literally Jesus, justice for all. No, he's not. He's tweaking. Exactly. His perception is off. You know, he doesn't understand the condition that he's in right now. I love his counter questions. I think his counter questions are interesting because he said, how many people have you deleted? And he said, I haven't deleted nobody. What about the other police officers? I'm shot out, but you still ain't going through my phone. Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, what does he have to hide there? After spilling his guts like this, you may as well give him your phone. Excuse me, you're just prolonging the inevitable and wasting the police's time. So, but it is what it is. Let's watch the last few minutes of this. That was my cherry, y'all. I don't know why it just made that sound. But let's continue.
Thank you.
Okay. So you didn't talk to anybody about what happened?
Why should I talk to someone that doesn't even believe me?
Well, I think when people...
Right? If they want to believe me more, get into the Bible. That's my reason, my response.
Well, I'm just talking about what happened with Rico.
He died. I sent him to hell, where he belongs. And when people want to join him, they can too.
Oh, Lord. And look at him. No, he looks crazy as hell. I hate to say that. No, it was the chair. Stop. This is a chair that I got on Facebook Marketplace. And every now and then, see, now the sound don't want to go. But it's like a creaking fart sound. You know, it sounded like... It was not me. Relax. I would not just be with a straight face over here like... That's crazy. But yeah, he's so like... Oh, you guys can't look through my phone. You just confessed to murder, dude. Like, just accept that they're going to look through your phone eventually, whether it's right now with your permission or in a week when they get a warrant or in 2 months. They're still going to look at your phone. Yeah, the fact that he said what case just goes to show how delusional he is. You know, very, very delusional. He's on a different plane of reality. Very, yeah. Let's continue.
All right, Brian, hang on just a minute, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Brian's long-term methamphetamine use and distorted thinking patterns have detached Brian from reality. Individuals with rigid religious beliefs, like Brian, are more prone to violent behavior, particularly when convinced of divine justification. Coupled with this is Brian's distorted vision of power and lack of remorse, which puts him at risk for future violence. And the prosecutors thought the same. During his trial in May of 2023, their entire argument was based on how susceptible to violence he was. They emphasized his impulsive behavior and deemed him a risk to society due to his recurring violence. The jury clearly agreed, and in August of 2023, Brian was charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to 70 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 28 years.
Oh, Lord. 70 years with the possibility of parole after 28 years. How do you guys feel about that sentence? I mean, he obviously red rummed this dude, right? Pewed him 2 times in his own apartment and then just went out, smoked some cigarettes, and went about his day, you know? Jesse Luke says, I'll come help you oil out that chair. Yeah, it definitely does, because that chair, I was like, this chair is going to set me up. It's gonna have me looking like I was over here blasting a fart or whatever. But no, that's not what happened here. So, yep, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you guys. All right, let me know any interrogations or things that you guys are interested in me covering. I had a few more, but I have to get on with my morning, y'all. 2 hours and 10 minutes is all I got today. All right, that's all I got. So hopefully, if you guys like the show, you guys have subscribed. Like the show. Hopefully you're gonna come back. Hopefully you share the stream out so that I can get in all up in your algorithm, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, I'm gonna send you off with some music since y'all are still here. I'm gonna send y'all off with this one.
Battles got power, Florabella stands tall. Every drip, every drop, watch the haters fall. Channel sharp as thorns, ain't taking no mess. Scroll through her feet, feel that queen's finesse. Vines tangle tight, but Flora breaks free. Roots so deep, can't mess with her tree. From the mud she rises, roses from the dirt. Every comment section she lays down hurt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. From the garden green to the concrete wall, Florabella, unstoppable nature's child. Leaves whisper secrets, she's the loudest shout. From the channel buzzing, she never backs out. Seed of strength, through seasons she grows. In the face of doubt, her spirit glows. Cameras ain't a limit, she branches out. Thorns in her crown, she wears it no doubt. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless. Flora's anthem, blooming under pressure. Resilient, resolving, no lesser. Florabella's reign strong and relentless. Beauty in battle, queen sure defenseless.